Hi, this is Shadi, and today we are discussing a very interesting topic, and that is self defense, dangerous techniques, and also the man known as Mikinosuke Kawaishi. Mikinosuke Kawaishi is considered second generation Kodokan. He was born in 1899 and passed away in 1969. He is credited for bringing Judo to France and also from France propagated throughout Europe. So he is credited for a lot of things, especially the the colored belt system, which is we have today. Before, it was kind of like the Aikikai of today of Aikido. You have the white belt and goes straight into black belt. And Kawaishi made the colored belt system of yellow, orange, green, blue, brown, and getting to Dan phases. So today I'm gonna discuss something that is found in his books. He has actually several books like My Method of Judo, My Method of Self-Defense, and also the Katas of Judo. And I'm gonna discuss particularly, I'm not gonna talk about leg locks. I believe I already talked about it in older videos, but today I'm gonna talk about something not very much discussed. We often talk about leg grabs and leg locks being banned, and the whole bandwagon of complaints. But today I'm gonna talk about a series of techniques that even far more dangerous, and I don't know if they're also permitted in jiu-jitsu, or some of them, or even in MMA. And I'm gonna talk about the Kubi Kansetsu Waza, which is neck locks techniques. The first technique is the Kubi Hishigi. Hishigi meaning snap or break. Kubi means neck. That literally means breaking the neck. And as you can see, it's your typical neck crank found in the old arsenal of Judo. And as you can see, it is done from the mount position. And you can see that there's a rotation. Not only there's a pull, but also from the arrow or the dotted arrow, you can see that it is also being rotated in order to dislocate or snap the neck. So you can see how dangerous these techniques are, and as we continue, it's gonna become far more dangerous or far more intense. The second one is the Osai Hishigi, and that is the guillotine choke, but it's not a choke, it's not a shimewaza or a jime hishigi. Also, we are still snapping. As you can see, you hold the belt and you bend backwards in order to perform the hishigi, or the snapping of the neck, in order to dislocate it. So we are talking either fatality, or becoming a quadriplegic, or paralyzed from the neck down. So this is how dangerous these techniques are, and no wonder they are banned. It's not a guillotine choke. It looks like a guillotine choke, but in fact it is not. It's a kansetsu waza. Here you can see it being done from the guard as you push with the legs forward, and with the back you arch your back backwards in order to snap the spine or the neck. Here it's the tate hishigi, a standing guillotine, but you can see you are turning away from the head and increasing the momentum and the pressure on the neck, and thus also fracturing it or dislocating it. So there are many ways and angles where you can increase momentum and pressure on the neck in order for it to break. So the Judo arsenal, as you can see, it is very big. Leg locks, from takedowns, etc. In this same book, there's also leg locks. I've already discussed in an older video. Let's take a look at another one, and that is the Gyaku Hishigi. It's very similar to the Osai Hishigi. However, you are performing a far more backward sway and pushing with the hips and the legs in order to stretch the spine, and also taking the neck at an angle in order to break it or snap it. So they all work in similar ways, but with different angles and different body parts in creating momentum and leverage on the neck in order to break it. And the last one I found it, or before the last one, is the Tomoe Hishigi, or the circular break, which is kind of like a guard slam, but you put pressure on the neck of your opponent, and you grab the belt and you keep pushing forward, and thus creating pressure on the cervical and injuring it. Here you can see from another angle how this technique is performed, how the pressure is being put on the neck in order to snap it. So all of these techniques are obviously illegal in judo in competition today. I don't know about jiu-jitsu federations, but I know the neck cranks are allowed in MMA, but I don't think to this degree. The last one is arguably the nastiest, and that is the Kezagatame Kubi Hishigi. It's like the scarf fold of judo, the traditional pin, but you rotate the neck and also putting pressure on it with your entire body weight, and thus injuring it or permanently injuring it. So you can see that in Kawaishi's book there's not only that, but there's also stuff like the calf slice, the toe hold, straight ankle lock, etc. And I came across the Kubi Kansetsu, or the neck locks techniques, and found them to be very interesting, and also they can be very deadly and lethal, or permanently injure someone and rendering them like a paraplegic. For example, if you do something like a heel hook or a straight knee bar and tearing the ACL or whatever, with surgery in these days and physical therapists, you can make arguably a full recovery. We've seen it with jiu-jitsu players all the time, but with stuff like these techniques you can render someone paralyzed from the waist down, or even dead, and there's no coming back from that. So I understand why they're banned. The severity of these techniques is quite intense, so I would argue that let's leave them illegal, teach them for the police or the army, because we don't need them in competition. We have a lot of locks and chokes that do just fine. For example, even in self-defense, I don't need to pull like a nasty heel hook. I can simply just armbar or triangle someone, or put them in a udegarami or a kimura, and that alone is very sufficient to do enough damage. So even if leg locks are banned, I'm good, I can do without. So this is an interesting thing to look back on. The arsenal of technique of judo seems to be extremely enormous, from leg locks, leg grabs, single legs, double legs, ankle picks, the whole wrestling arsenal of takedowns and pins, but also adding kansetsu waza, locks, and also very unique takedowns with the gi. So making it a very big repertoire of techniques. You have also the weapons, the defense against the weapons for the police, like goshin jutsu and kami no kata, and other katas that are made for self-defense. So if you have anything else to share, maybe other forbidden techniques that you might be aware of, or there are in some other old school jiu-jitsu, let me know down below. Let me know what you think of these techniques in particular. This was Shadi, and thank you for listening.